Hi guys, once again welcome to another edition of OCK Draws. Today we're embarking on the fan art project that I've been working on for a little while. This is the first completed sketch of the Lady Death fan art project. I hope you guys like it and enjoy it. It's meant to be a work through and a tutorial of how to draw comic art style images. So as you can see, I kind of cheated a little bit. I'm using Procreate and I've hidden the layer underneath it, which I'm currently tracing, and I'm just going over it in a light gray so that you can clearly see the pencil work. Once again, as always, like and subscribe. Please share, it helps the channel grow. So during the penciling process, I try to get nice clean lines and build up some of the three-dimensionality and details of the image so that I know what I'm doing when I want to ink. It does take a lot of time, and for those who are not that confident, this is a good way to go because you can really plan out your sketch quite nicely. I'm defining the details on her clothing, like she's got this sort of skin tight vinyl shiny looking outfit on, so you want to imitate reflective qualities, and I'm doing so by bringing up lots of lowlights and highlights. Once again, this is planning stage, like I said. Okay, at this point I'm moving on to the well-defined line art. You need to use a smooth, solid brush that creates pretty lines. You can adjust the brushes in Procreate so that they eliminate the human error, and you can create really smooth and clean line art. And I'm going over all of the details now with the solid line art brush. I haven't really copied anyone's style specifically. I'm sort of just working on my own, but I also always recommend using references. They're vitally important if you want to get your proportions right, if you want to get your body shapes right, you know, and your details. Reference as much as you can until you're confident that you can recall what things are supposed to look like on your own. To like, share and subscribe. It does help the channel grow. At this stage I'm finishing up with the line art, and I will be moving on to the flat color planes in a moment. Brush to get the flat color planes, and here you can see I'm working on her skin. That line art brush creates a neat selection where you can just trace out the edges of what you want to be a specific color and then drop a fill in there, super easy, just like that. And you can already see the character coming together from this point onwards. Also, remember, if you haven't, please check out the first video of the thumbnailing process where I create the basic illustrations for these 6 artworks, of which this is number 1. And just on a note of shameless self-promotion, a print of this and other illustrations will be available on ArtStation for you to purchase if you'd like to support the channel. As you can see, I've now filled in most of the base color values of her costume, her cape, her hair, the skulls, everything. And I'm about ready to move on to the shading process where I'll use some softer brushes to pick up the highlights and lowlights of all of the parts of the illustration to give her some three-dimensionality. And if I haven't said it before, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't notice it before, I actually dropped the opacity of the ink layer so that I could get real good quality fitting of all of these color planes, and now I brought it back down and you can see that detail more clearly. I'm also filling in the details on the skulls and her hair. I'm using soft brushes just to bring in low lights and highlights to create that basic comic book three-dimensionality. I'm not going for crazy detail. It's just a comic book style sketch, but always remember to play with the tools that you've got with regards to your settings and adjustments in Procreate. You know, you can vary the colors. You can, once you've done details, you can change the way they look by just manipulating the colors, the hue, the saturation, darkness. You can blur things out, and you can create a lot of dynamic feeling in your image that you couldn't necessarily do by hand. And just to harp on about it, remember, reference, reference, reference. There is so much power in using references, especially as a beginner. You know, like when I started drawing out as a kid, I would copy comic book illustrations and covers just because I thought they were fantastic. But later on in life, I realized they helped me code in and bring in a lot of information that I now know automatically. However, I'm still using references all the time just to make sure that I get the pictures spot on. Like I always say, I'm not the world's best illustrator, and I am learning and developing. But you can do exactly what I do just by playing with it, using your references, and having fun. As I'm looking how the gold is developing, I can honestly say this is not exactly my favorite part of the illustration. It sort of looks a little bit cut out and separated, but that's probably because I haven't practiced my technique well enough. I think it's possible for this illustration, but it's something that kind of glares at me, not necessarily the average viewer. Okay, here you can see I'm putting in the shading layer. I just fill the layer with the bluish purpley color that's semi-opaque, and I use subtraction. I erase away all of the bits that I want to pop and see how the effect happens, and it also kind of brings everything together a little bit. I hope you guys really like this. Thank you for your attention. Remember, like, share, subscribe, and I hope to see you all in the next one.